When I started my PhD, it was 2014, when Brexit wasn't even on the horizon, and quite frankly, when very few people cared about the role of the European Union in building peace and fostering cross-border cooperation in Northern Ireland. Yet, that was a really uncovered dimension of the peace process. And I actually thought that it could be a good angle to take to create a niche for myself and to contribute to the existing knowledge. So, because I have a background in history, I decided to play on this strength, thus try to uncover this particular dimension of the topic from an historical perspective, which brought me to work with triangular methods of archival research and elite interviews. And this also allowed me to overcome, let's say, the flawed and partial nature of the published academic sources available. Then, in 2016, Brexit arrived, and my investigation actually started to matter. Brexit marked a turning point in the history of relations between the region and the European Union. But most importantly, Brexit brought the topic to the center of the current political and scholarly debates, with academics questioning the profound implications that the UK's decision to leave the European Union could have for Northern Ireland and the island of Ireland as a whole. It also highlighted a series of unanswered questions, such as, for example, how will the UK withdrawal from the European Union disrupt Northern Ireland's political and economic situation? Or, which was particularly what I asked myself, if the European Union has been essential to building peace in Northern Ireland, how will Brexit affect the peace process? So, from this moment on, the objective of the book became that of covering the breadth of the European Union role in the peace process, ranging from cross-border cooperation, economic and industrial regeneration, and peace and reconciliation, whereas existing contributions predominantly covered only one of those dimensions. The second objective of the book is to demonstrate actually that the role of the European Union in the Northern Ireland peace process has been much more significant than previous studies have suggested. So the study begins in 1981, the first year of substantial decision and debate regarding the Northern Ireland conflict in the then European Economic Community context, while the year 2007 constitutes the culmination of the European Union attempt to consolidating peace by facilitating regional level empowerment. Because in 2007 the Commission established the Northern Ireland Task Force with the objective of providing a solid basis for the conduct of the European Union, Northern Ireland and the border regions relations. So 2007 is also where my investigation ends. So if this started originally as an historical study, including action from the European Parliament and European Union Funds for Cross-Border Cooperation and Reconciliation Initiative, that was not sufficient on its own to substantially contribute to the existing knowledge from the political science perspective. And that's where I started to ask myself theoretically how the European Union could build actually a movement for reconciliation while at the same time empowering the voice and capacity of the Northern Ireland nationalist and unionist communities to actively participate to the peace process. And so that's how I started to investigate theoretically how the European Union attempted to enhance the re-emergence, restructuring and strategic reorientation of politics from conflict to peace from a very peculiar meta-governance perspective. The emergence then of interdependence between the European Union, the UK and the Irish governments, and public and private organisations in Northern Ireland did require innovative solutions to public problems connected to the conflict. So together with the establishment of the peace process, this involved the stakeholders at all levels. Spontaneous policy networks, which are a recurrent phenomenon in all political fields, posed substantial analytical and political challenges to the European Union and the member states involved. And it was not possible to manage these new challenges simply through dialogue and the use of funds, and a range of knowledge, expertise and constructive practices were instead called upon when dealing with conflict amelioration and peace building. So accordingly, in the book, I try to bridge European studies with peace-building studies, drawing on a theoretical discussion that examines meta-governance in relation to the strategic peace-building framework initiated by LEDRAC. And by outlining the European Union approach to peace-building in Northern Ireland from a meta-governance perspective, I do think that the book offers insights into the potential for facilitating political change through civil society and local authority. This approach underlies how the European Union facilitated this passage from governmental to grassroots levels. And the experience of Northern Ireland became then representative of an innovative approach on the part of the European Union to support a European region in transition, but not only from conflict to peace, also from a centralized to a decentralized status. But let's not forget that at the same time, patterns and boundaries established by the two national governments involved show how networks remain limited by, while closely linked to democratic processes established at the European and national levels. Governments remain key actors in the peace process, and the European Union and the networks neither replaced hierarchies nor threatened state boundaries. Nonetheless, the concept of meta-governance emphasized the specific role that the European Union played in aiding the mixing of different modes of interactions. So while policy networks were important to link interdependent public and private actors, they formed only one element of the EU peace-building toolbox. And the European Union performed meta-governance in mixing networks and hierarchies, using different techniques and programs to control outcomes and cast a shadow of hierarchy over processes encompassing different government and governance levels. And for all these reasons, I do think that meta-governance deserves a space within the European Union peace-building strategy. I have to say, to conclude, that this has been an amazing journey, one that has led me to meet amazing people and also to have the privilege to write about them. One of these was certainly the recently deceased Nobel Peace Prize, John Hume, and another one is certainly Mr. Carlo Trojan, who also wrote the foreword of the book. I met Carlo in 2016, and he served as Deputy Secretary General and Secretary General of the European Commission under Jacques Delors. And with his help, but also with the help of another set of amazing people, I was able to piece together complex processes of behind the scenes and in plenary discussion that, along with private correspondence and public statements, helped me to, I hope, present a detailed and illuminating account of this side of the story that wasn't completely told until now.